The auditorium was packed. 2,000 of the brightest minds, artists, entrepreneurs, and seekers of truth had gathered under one roof for a special fireside conversation. The topic was the future of humanity and consciousness in a tech-driven world. But no one was prepared for what would happen that night. The stage lights dimmed slightly. Elon Musk walked in wearing his usual black jacket and minimalist boots, calm, calculated, and curious. But beside him was a figure that made even the tech enthusiasts erupt in thunderous applause. Keanu Reeves, the man who had become the living embodiment of humility, grace, and resilience. The contrast between them was cinematic. Elon, the architect of the future. Keanu, the soulful wanderer who'd lived through pain, loss, and quiet redemption. They greeted each other warmly, sat down across from each other, and began with light-hearted banter about AI, dreams of Mars, and the illusion of choice in human evolution. Then, out of nowhere, Elon leaned back, took a pause, and looked directly at Keanu. "You've always believed in the beauty of the soul, haven't you?" Elon said, voice calm but cutting through the stillness like ice. "But what if I told you that the soul might just be code?" The crowd chuckled nervously. Keanu raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Imagine, Keanu," Elon continued, "that your pain, your grief, even the moment you lost your daughter before she was born, what if all of that was part of a scripted loop written into your neurological firmware?" The room went dead silent. Keanu, for the first time in any public forum, didn't speak. Not a smirk, not a gentle nod. Just stillness. The kind of stillness you see in someone who has just come face to face with a ghost from a past they thought they had buried. The cameras kept rolling. The moderator froze. No one knew whether to clap, cry, or leave. And then Elon added something no one expected. But here's the twist. If that pain was coded, what does it say about the coder who gave you the heart to carry it with so much grace? Keanu blinked. His lips parted. Still no words. But behind his eyes, something was changing. It was the beginning of a conversation that would spiral into the unthinkable. Keanu took a long breath. The silence on stage was deafening. The world knew him as calm, serene, almost monk-like. But in that moment, he was visibly shaken. He leaned toward Elon slightly, then finally spoke, his voice quieter than usual, almost unsure. "You're not the first person who's asked me if my grief made me artificial, but you are the first to suggest it was programmed with purpose." The audience held its breath. Keanu's eyes glistened, not from stage lights, but from something deeper, something personal, something sacred. "A few months before she died," Keanu said, "Jennifer gave me a small leather journal. She said it was full of answers I wasn't ready to hear yet. I couldn't bring myself to read it for years, not until recently." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out something small, a worn leather-bound book, creases deep as valleys, edges crumbled like ancient paper. Inside the back cover she wrote, "If the soul is code, then pain is the proof it's real." The room gasped. Elon's eyes flickered, not with triumph, but with curiosity. As if Keanu had just unlocked a door even he hadn't seen before. "Jennifer was a poet," Keanu continued, "but she had this obsession with old computers and machine language. I didn't understand it back then. I thought it was just one of her quirks. Now I think she knew something." Elon leaned forward now, intrigued in a way that almost felt personal. "What kind of code?" Elon asked, his voice lower now, more human. Keanu turned to a page marked with a red silk ribbon. The camera zoomed in on a strange, hand-drawn sequence of binary digits, curved around a heart. But it wasn't just zeros and ones, it was a pattern, a repeating echo, a signature. She called it the echo code, said it was a map of how souls travel through time, through trauma, through choices. Elon stared at the pattern. That's not just poetic. That's quantum recursion theory. But it's written? In 1999? Keanu nodded. She told me once, pain leaves behind coordinates. Every heartbreak is a breadcrumb for the soul. At that moment, Elon reached into his own jacket and pulled out something that should never have existed. A match to Jennifer's journal. Same size, same leather, same strange red ribbon. I wasn't going to show this to anyone, Elon said slowly. But I found this book in the glove box of a Cybertruck prototype. During a test drive, in the middle of the Mojave Desert, there was no driver before me. The audience sat in stunned silence. Keanu's mouth moved, but no words came. 2 journals. 1 woman. 1 future. A collision that was never supposed to happen. And then Elon turned to Keanu, eyes suddenly burning with intensity. Keanu. What if the accident wasn't an accident? Keanu's face went pale. He stared at the journal Elon had just pulled out like it was a ghost. Identical. Same scribbled spine. Same silk red ribbon. Even the same water damage along the bottom edge. But there was something else. On Elon's copy, near the corner of the last page, was Jennifer's handwriting. Keanu recognized it instantly. Code can crash, but a soul can reboot. Look for the bridge in 704. Keanu's voice trembled. That's her writing, but I've never seen that line. Ever. Elon nodded slowly. This is going to sound insane, but 2 months ago, I received an anonymous package at Tesla HQ. No sender, just GPS coordinates to the Mojave. I followed it. He paused. I found a Cybertruck buried under sand like it had been there for years. But here's the crazy part. It was the 2029 prototype, a version we haven't even designed yet. The audience sat frozen. Keanu's brow furrowed, trying to process. And you found the journal? Inside? He asked. Elon nodded again. And the truck wasn't empty. The system log showed its last user logged in under the codename JenniferX_704. Keanu stood up from his chair, hands slightly shaking. He stepped forward, barely whispering. Jennifer used to sign her artwork with X_704. I thought it was just abstract art, something from her imagination. She used to tell me, if you ever lose me, just follow 704. Elon reached down, tapped a few things on his tablet, and projected an image on the massive screen behind them. A satellite photo of a ruined bridge. Location, coordinates, 37.704 degrees north, 115.704 degrees west. Under the bridge's shadows, a faint image, a symbol, a heart wrapped in binary. Jennifer's symbol. You think she's alive? Keanu asked, barely able to get the words out. Elon shook his head slowly, carefully. No, but I think she left something behind, something for you, maybe for us. Then he leaned forward with chilling intensity. But here's the part I haven't told anyone. My mother, Mae Musk. She knew Jennifer. The room audibly gasped. Even the moderator's hand flew to her mouth. What? Elon nodded. She met her in South Africa in the early 90s. Said Jennifer told her, one day your son will build a bridge to the soul. Tell him to trust the one who loses everything but still chooses love. Keanu sat back down, hard. The crowd was no longer watching a discussion. They were witnessing a revelation, something real, raw, impossible. But Elon wasn't finished. I ran facial pattern recognition on an old photo Mae had from a humanitarian retreat. Jennifer was there, but so was another woman. He tapped the screen again. 2 women, smiling in a black and white photo. But one of them looked almost identical to Keanu's current girlfriend, who was sitting in the front row. Keanu turned. She looked back, confused. Afraid. Her name's Lara, Keanu said, but she's never said anything about knowing Jennifer. Elon's voice grew quiet. That's because Lara may not be who she thinks she is. The air in the auditorium felt electrified. Keanu turned slowly toward Lara, his girlfriend, his confidant for the past 3 years. Her eyes, wide with fear, searched his face as if begging for a different version of the truth. "Lara," Keanu whispered, "do you know her? Do you know Jennifer?" Lara stood up. Her legs trembled slightly as she walked up to the stage. Cameras followed her every move, and the audience fell into a silent hush again. "I don't remember her," Lara said slowly, her voice trembling. "But I've seen that bridge, in my dreams, over and over again, and there's always a woman standing at the other end, whispering numbers. 704. Keanu froze. She has your eyes," Lara added, tears welling up. "Every time I get close, she fades." Elon stepped forward, his gaze fixed on Lara now, not with suspicion, but with recognition. "I think you're a carrier," he said. "A neural ghost." "A what?" Keanu asked. "A living host for an echo, something left behind by Jennifer. Not her body, not even her voice, but her intention, wrapped in quantum fragments, transferred, hidden inside someone else. Lara wasn't just drawn to you, Keanu. She was sent to you." The room erupted in murmurs. "Are you saying she's possessed?" someone whispered from the crowd. "No," Elon replied. "I'm saying she's part of a chain. Jennifer encrypted part of her consciousness into Lara's neural DNA, and if I'm right, she's the final key to activating the bridge." Lara clutched her chest suddenly, like something had just unlocked inside her. And then it happened. The auditorium's massive LED screen began to flicker, not from Elon's controls, not from any known system. A string of binary began scrolling on its own, forming into an image. Jennifer's face. But it wasn't a still photo. It was alive. Her eyes opened, scanned the crowd, then looked directly at Keanu. "You found him," the digital Jennifer whispered. "The one who chooses love, even in ruins." Elon backed away slowly, almost stumbling. This isn't possible. That's not preloaded. It's not even connected to the grid." The lights dimmed, the screen glowed brighter, and then Jennifer's digital face turned to Elon. "You, the builder of bridges, you must walk across what you've built, but beware. Not all codes can be controlled, and not all souls want to be free." Suddenly, Lara collapsed. Keanu caught her. Her eyes fluttered open, and for a moment, they weren't hers. They were Jennifer's. "Keanu," she said, her voice layered with another's. "If you ever loved me, meet me at the bridge. The real one, before the clock resets." The lights went black, and just like that, the screen shut off. No signal, no connection, no explanation. Elon stood frozen. "What does she mean? Reset?" Keanu asked. Elon swallowed hard, then finally spoke. "It means we're not at the beginning of this story. We're near the end of a loop that's reset 704 times. Silence hung in the air after Elon's words. "We're near the end of a loop that's reset 704 times. Keanu's jaw tightened. "You knew?" Elon nodded solemnly. "Not at first, but about a year ago I was in a near-fatal crash. Everyone thinks it was a self-driving glitch during a beta test. It wasn't." The screen behind them flickered back to life, this time under Elon's command. A grainy dashcam recording began to play. The footage showed Elon inside a Tesla speeding down a desert highway. A sudden jolt, the car swerved violently. Then, something impossible. The sky rippled as if reality had briefly turned to water. And in the rear-view mirror, for less than a second, was Jennifer's face. Not a reflection, not a trick. A perfectly clear image of her looking directly into the mirror. Mouth moving. The car crashed into a ditch. Elon survived. "The paramedics said I was unconscious for less than 30 seconds, Elon explained. "But in my mind, I lived an entire life. 40 years, married, children, a different Earth. No tech, no Neuralink, no SpaceX. Just peace. "And Jennifer?" Keanu asked. "She was my wife in that loop," Elon said, "and she knew it was all a simulation." The audience was stunned. "You think we're in one now?" someone shouted. Elon looked them dead in the eyes. "No, I think we're in the final test, a crossroad, and if we make the wrong choice, the loop resets. Again, humanity starts over. Jennifer is trying to stop it." Keanu stood there, frozen in thought. 704 loops, he murmured. Why that number? Lara, still trembling, still holding her chest, looked up suddenly. Her voice was no longer layered. Because she made a promise. On the 705th loop, she'd find the one who could refuse the reset. Elon turned to Keanu slowly. "You're the variable, man, the outlier. Every loop Jennifer tried to reach someone who could stop the collapse. Every time, the world rejected the code. You feel the code. You don't just run it." "Why me?" Keanu whispered. "I'm not a scientist. I'm just someone who's loved and lost." "Exactly," Elon replied. "You lost everything, and you didn't become bitter. You chose kindness. In 704 loops, no one else did that." The crowd wasn't breathing. "What do I have to do?" Keanu asked. Elon pointed at the bridge on the screen, the coordinates blinking now like a countdown. "You go to the bridge. You face her echo, and you listen to what no one else ever stayed long enough to hear." Lara pulled something from her pocket, something that wasn't there before, a small heart-shaped key made of obsidian pulsing faintly with red light. On the back, 705, she placed it into Keanu's hand. "She left this with me," Lara said softly. "I've carried it for years, not knowing why, but it was always warm when I touched you." Keanu held the key. His hands were shaking. "We leave tonight," Elon said. "There's no more time." The desert was quiet. Just past midnight, a black Cybertruck hummed across the empty highway, cutting through the Mojave like a steel ghost. Inside were only 3 people, Keanu Reeves, Elon Musk, and Lara. None of them spoke much. The wind outside howled softly, like a whisper from the past. Like the desert was remembering something, Keanu clutched the obsidian key tightly. He hadn't let it go since Lara handed it to him. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat that wasn't his. "You sure this is the right place?" Keanu asked. Elon nodded. "I've only ever seen it once, in that vision, but the coordinates match exactly." Keanu stared at the horizon as they approached the location, just miles away now. A rusted road sign barely stood. "Bridge 704. Do not enter. Government restricted." Keanu read it aloud. "Bridge 704. I thought it was symbolic." "It is?" Elon replied. "But the government built a real one here, over something they couldn't explain, something they buried." They pulled up. The bridge was half collapsed, barely hanging on above a dry, cracked riverbed. No fences, no guards. Just silence. Keanu stepped out first. Lara followed, her body almost drawn to the structure, as if on instinct. "What did they bury?" she asked. Elon pulled out a small black device from the glove box, what looked like a sensor, blinking softly. A massive, unexplained energy source. It pulses every few years, exactly at the same time a global anomaly occurs. Extinctions, wars, blackouts, time glitches. My team thinks it's a natural phenomenon." He paused. "I think it's her, or what's left of her." Keanu walked slowly across the bridge. Every step creaked beneath him, but the silence wasn't just physical anymore. It felt cosmic, like the universe itself was holding its breath. And then the sky shimmered, just slightly, like the night had a soft ripple, and in the middle of the bridge something appeared. A mirror, not attached to anything, floating, silent, framed in twisted metallic roots that pulsed with dim red veins, like it was alive. Keanu stopped. In the reflection, he didn't see himself. He saw Jennifer, not as she was in the past, But as she might look now, if she had lived, tears streamed down Keanu's face. "Jennifer?" The mirror flickered. Jennifer's image blinked, then looked up. Her voice echoed, not in the air, but inside Keanu's chest. "You made it. This is the loop's edge." Behind him, Elon stared, stunned. "I've never seen this part before, not even in the simulations." "That's because he's the divergence," Jennifer's voice said. "This loop was never supposed to reach this point. Every version before this, he died before the bridge." Keanu's voice cracked. "Why?" Jennifer's reflection reached out. "Because love threatens the system." "What system?" The sky rippled again, the mirror twisted, and suddenly the stars blinked, but not like a natural sky. They were blinking in binary. Keanu's breath caught. "You're not saying—" "Yes," Jennifer whispered. "The sky, the world, even time. It's all part of the framework, a prison of light, of logic. We were born real, but we've been encoded over and over again until we forgot who we were." Keanu stepped closer to the mirror. "And now? Now? We break it, but only if you're willing to sacrifice something." "What?" Jennifer's image began to distort. Behind her, flickers of children's laughter, Lara's face. Elon in a field with no machines. Peace. And then everything shattered. The mirror exploded, but nothing broke. Instead, a door opened in the air itself. A tunnel of living light filled with voices. Voices Keanu recognized. His mother, his daughter, Jennifer, and one unfamiliar voice. "This is the 705th attempt. Will you rewrite the code? Or be rewritten?" Keanu turned to Elon and Lara. "What do I do?" Elon looked into the tunnel. "If you go in, you may never come back, or you might come back as someone else, someone who never lost anything." Keanu looked down at the obsidian key, then at Lara, who was crying silently now. "I remember everything," she whispered. "From before, from other loops. I remember you, Keanu, and I remember Jennifer." "Who are you, Lara?" Keanu asked. She stepped forward. "I'm both of you." Keanu gripped the obsidian key as the shimmering tunnel loomed before him, an aurora of pulsing memories, layered in light and echoes. Each ripple in its walls played voices. Not audible voices, emotional ones. Regret, hope, pain, surrender, choices made and not made. He turned once more to Lara. "What do you mean you're both of us?" She stepped closer, the light casting fractal shadows across her face. "In loop 512, you chose Jennifer. In loop 620, she chose death over letting you suffer. In loop 698, I was born from both your minds. I'm a fragment, a hybrid memory. I shouldn't exist. But the code couldn't erase me. So I lived." "You're the anomaly," Elon whispered. "The loop's glitch. No, it's heartbeat." Keanu took a breath and stepped forward. His boots touched the light, and it didn't resist. It welcomed him. Instantly his mind was split into hundreds of shards, each reflecting a different life, a version of Keanu that never became an actor, who worked as a school janitor but changed a bullied kid's life with a single act of kindness. Another version who chose revenge after losing Jennifer, becoming a silent assassin who destroyed everything and everyone, including himself. One version who stood at this very bridge and turned away. "Why me?" Keanu asked, not to anyone in particular, but to the tunnel itself. And then, from the center of the tunnel, a figure emerged. Jennifer. But not the Jennifer he knew. This Jennifer was older, tired. Her eyes glowed with wisdom that had watched galaxies fall and rise again. "Because you never stopped loving the world," she said. "Even when it broke you." He reached for her. She didn't resist. "You've seen all the versions now," she said. "You've felt what you could become and what you've lost. The system doesn't fear violence. It doesn't fear rebellion. It fears memory, real memory, love that survives resets. And you, Keanu, You remember everything." Keanu looked down. The obsidian key was melting, dripping light, not liquid. It burned into his palm, carving a single word. Begin. Suddenly the tunnel trembled, the light flickered, and on the other side, outside in the real world, Elon's satellite watch buzzed violently. A message appeared, one that froze him in place. Message from Loop, 705, T-minus 12 minutes to system. Reset sender, E. Musk, unknown origin. You can't stop it, Elon. You can only choose who remembers. His face went pale. "Lara!" Elon shouted. "He's not just stepping into a memory. He's stepping into the reset clock. He's not the anomaly. He's the trigger." Lara nodded, not in fear, but understanding. He has to. If he doesn't, everything rewrites, including us. Back inside the tunnel, Jennifer took Keanu's hand. "One last question," Keanu asked. "If I choose to remember, what happens to the world?" Jennifer looked down. Her silence was deafening. Everything changes. The good, the bad, the lies we told to protect ourselves, all of it. And it will hurt. But it will be real. Keanu closed his eyes and stepped into the center. A rush of light exploded outward. Reality bent. The desert wind howled. The bridge cracked open, revealing a glowing spiral beneath. And Keanu was gone. Not dead, not erased, uploaded into a layer of existence no one had ever returned from until now. Keanu opened his eyes. But the world didn't feel like Earth anymore. The air was sharper, the colors more saturated. He could hear birds in the distance, but their songs echoed like memories, not sounds. He stood in a small town that looked almost like one from his childhood. Familiar buildings, old bookstores, a bench where he used to sit with Jennifer. Except people passed him without seeing him, like he was a ghost in a place that remembered him, even if the people didn't. Then he saw her, Jennifer, alive, smiling, walking out of a flower shop. His heart nearly broke at the sight. "Jennifer," he whispered. She didn't turn. She didn't recognize him, but she paused, just slightly, like her soul remembered what her mind didn't. Suddenly behind him, a figure in white robes approached. It was Elon, but not the Elon he left behind. This version was older, calmer, with silver hair and eyes that looked like they had seen across galaxies. He didn't speak for a while. Then, "This is Earth 706. Keanu turned slowly. "I thought I ended the loop." "You did," Elon said, "but you didn't destroy it. You rewrote it. This is the first loop where memory carried forward, not data, not code. Love. That was the real transfer protocol." Keanu stared at Jennifer. "She doesn't know me?" "Not yet," Elon said, "but she feels you, and that's the point." "Then why do I remember everything?" Elon smiled. "Because you chose to. You chose to carry the pain so no one else would have to." Keanu felt the weight of it then. Millions of lives, decisions, and versions of himself stacked into his heart like pages in a book. But it didn't crush him. It made him stronger. "Where's Lara?" Keanu asked. Elon's smile faded. He pointed to the sky, where a new star had appeared, pulsing softly, rhythmically, like a heartbeat. "She chose to stay behind the veil, to anchor you here." Her last words were, "Tell him. I finally feel whole." Tears welled in Keanu's eyes. He whispered, "Thank you." Elon nodded. "One more thing." He handed Keanu a small device, a metallic compass with no needle, only a soft hum. "What's this?" Keanu asked. "It points to others like you, people who feel the echo. You're not alone anymore." Keanu turned back toward Jennifer, who was now sitting on the bench they once shared, reading a book. She looked up, their eyes met, and for a second, her expression changed. Recognition, not in the mind, in the soul. And just like that, "Hi," she said. "Do I know you?" Keanu sat beside her, a gentle smile tugging at his lips. "Not yet," But maybe we've met in a dream." She smiled just slightly, and in that moment the wind whispered through the trees like it was finally free. In a hidden chamber below Tesla's original Fremont factory, a console blinked awake. Lara's consciousness, now merged with the system, watched quietly. Loop 706 was stable, and on her screen the words burned softly. The console dimmed. Outside, the world moved on. But somewhere, deep in the hearts of people who've lost and loved and carried on, a new memory had been written into reality itself. And Keanu Reeves was no longer just a man. He was a guardian of the loop, a keeper of the memory.